Hello, your Smets. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation to take part of this first season of Prev Talks. We are also partners, so I know you for a few years now, but our audience doesn't know you. So I would really like if you could present a little bit your, presentation, a more personal touch presentation of your career, what brought you to create Bluepanda and what brought you to Portugal.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here and have the chance to have this conversation with you. Looking forward to the rest of the talks as well. About myself, I am Belgian, as you may probably here already know. I fell in love in 2014-15 with a very beautiful Portuguese lady. And at some day she said, I want to go home. And of course, that is first reason why I ended up in Portugal. Before coming to Portugal, I had a long career in IT, from being developer to management. And arriving here after a little while, I missed my team. And we said, okay, let's start over. And yeah, that's where we are now at the moment, working for international customers mostly. Focusing on people management. That's why we also have this close cooperation, of course. And trying to have indeed as much fun as possible and enjoying the nice Portuguese weather.
Not so nice in the last few weeks have been tough during the rainy season, but yeah, normally we have very
Still better than Belgium, okay? Still better.
It's true, it's freezing at the moment. So we cannot complain. So as you know, we focus much more on prevention, and we thought about inviting you because we do feel, and we've been lucky enough to really work with your team, get to know your team, and you know that you have a very strong culture, work culture. And so first questions, how were you able to create and maintain this work culture? Because you are a nearshore, provider. People are not at the office full time. Most of them work remotely or in the client, right? Or hybrid sometimes. So how do you create and also maintain? What are the key aspects that you can share with us of how you were able to create Bluepanda team?
It's the $1 million question, of course, right? I think in business, everything in whatever strategy that you focus on, it's always a matter of common sense, right? Listening to what people need, what people want, and what the company needs as well, what needs to be done, and how do you support as much as possible your employees to delivering on one hand, but also doing this in a way that they are happy, and doing this with a good mindset. It's indeed a difficult thing. Over the last 5 years, we've seen a lot of changes in the market, from a normal hybrid working version before COVID, for example, the COVID situation where it was forced to be at home, and now the struggle to get people back to the office. It's a completely different approach, and it's something to be flexible to attack that. It's an important topic. But in any situation, you need to connect with your employees. For me, that's the most important thing. Finding that balance between work, home, work, at work, that balance between home and personal life and work life. It's where the issue in the beginning was to try to give people more time to be at home with their family. Now it's the other way around, so the approach is a little bit different. But in the end, we need to listen to what they want, what they need, and how we can support that, right? Mm-hmm. Being distant has been part of our business model always, right? Even also in the past. And yes, doing social events with them, working on communication, making sure they have everything they need, not only from tooling, but also from communication and feeling perspective, is certainly something to do. So, for example, the prevay cycles, but also employee satisfaction surveys, and like a very regular contact from the HR team, but also from the team lead. So having a good management structure around the people and not so much around IT in this case, of course, is very important to have. Yeah.
Yes. And I know that you also, so even if people work, whether in the customer, whether in other cities also, whether at home, you enable them to get together and have very strong personal, connections, whether one-to-one, but also in the whole team, and I imagine per team. That's become very important to really get to know your people, to really, bond with them and to understand what their needs are, expectations. Your area is also very, very competitive. IT, nearshore technology has been very, very competitive. What do you feel are so you were also saying before that the market really, changed, not just because of COVID, but I think, that there will be also talent, retention issues, talent shortage in specific fields. How do you perceive now the current more important challenge concerning people? What is the main challenges for Bluepanda, but also in the sector?
Yeah, let's turn this and see what we see that are the challenges for people that are working at home. It's like people feel discomfortable. They don't have the right working environment always. You have the kids around. Loneliness, detachment. These are topics that are popping up regularly in talks with our employees, and these are actions we pick into to make sure that at least those topics are covered and managed. Towards the labor market, let's call it like that, or the talent that's available in Portugal. I'm going to have to go back to COVID because in the end, that's what triggered everything to go faster. But there is less of a need for local people. Right? If you look at the end customer, it doesn't need that much local people anymore, right? Of course, we are a Portuguese company, so we focus on mostly Portuguese people. But in the end, if we look, this market opened up a lot, bringing better salaries to people in Portugal, right, compared to Europe. But indeed, also giving way more opportunities for these employees here in Portugal to also look outside of Portugal. And that makes it, of course, harder for us. Mm-hmm. In the end, we believe that happy people make happy customers make happy employees, and if they're both happy, the company is happy as well, right? And it's always been our strategy and the main challenge that we want to achieve. Now, once we achieve that, we believe that the business will run well. We're really people focused, and instead of like number crunchers or specifically on sales numbers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the question is, the big challenge is, how do you have fun if people are not in the office, right? We completely understand that there is no need for people to be at the office. That's why our offices became social meeting points instead of being working space. So it's for events and team meetings and lunches and these kind of things, or inviting bonds for business days, sharing the office, But yes, how do you have fun? Huh? That's a big challenge for the management team to accommodate. Yes.
Yes, and I think it's also, it doesn't need to be very sophisticated approaches. It needs to be very sensitive and also addressing the needs that you were saying. So social needs and getting together and really aligning with the mission and the way we work in this company. It's very important. And I imagine that although the market is competitive, not everything for employees, it's about numbers also. It's not just about salary. It's also about working conditional and emotional support, and also the feeling that you belong, right? So it's also about belonging and being part of it. What other different ways that you use to promote or reinforce the work culture? Or do you do it a little bit, unintentional, or are you intentional in the process of creating the culture?
Well, it is in the end, I'm the CEO of the company, so I started it, so it has a little bit of the heart and feel of how I like to operate. And that is in a very empathic way. So that kind of radiates. Of course, the more you grow, it fades out a little bit, but we give that extra effort to make sure that the personal aspect is certainly in. Some cultural things that we are doing. For example, we have a culture budget that people can use during the year. It's to go to, for example, a festival or movies or anything that is culturally related. They have a fixed value that they can spend per month, per year. Also on the birthday, instead of giving a birthday present or sending a bouquet of flowers, which is very nice, right? It's no problem at all. We brought this to a more social level where we said, okay, if you have your birthday, why don't you go out for dinner with your family? And we'll pay you the dinner up to a certain value as well. Also to bring that social aspect, this contact with people is always a push. Besides that, we have like 4 major events per year, where we have a weekend, usually in the beginning of the year, a summer party, and September a family day, and then of course the end of year Christmas party. These are the 4 main events with like 3 months in between, which is good to see everybody. And we basically enforce a monthly team meeting where we ask people to be present, being on site or digital. Doesn't really matter. And for the rest, we encourage the middle management team to stay pushing on people to come to, for example, a lunch instead of like working in the office. No, come to a lunch and bring that back. That's directly to the employees. Outside of that, of course, we're also focusing on giving back to society. For example, if we have leftover materials from an event, we give this away to social initiatives in the areas of the offices. And 3 times per year, we have our employees select good causes where everybody then can donate as an initiative as well. Christmas, Easter, and back to school for people that are a little bit for the kids, of course, as well. And in the end, it's focusing on connecting people, staying connected, and doing that on understanding and knowing your people.
What I find interesting is that you're not just focusing, of course, on creating relationships within the team, but also putting the company in connection with the community and also engaging them in making decisions, what you want to support, what is, something that you would like and involves. And this comes back to the comment that you did in the beginning, that this is common sense, which I find very interesting because I as you know, I work for many years in this field. And sometimes decisions about, creating this healthy culture is not as easy as it seems. Do you think, your previous experiences also shaped this knowledge that you have now, that culture actually could be crucial to create health and well-being for the people? So did you had experience previously, in different companies, whether managing a team, managing other companies? Where did you learn that it was important, this connection, this involvement, hearing people, creating conditions for them to make decisions about the culture and the rituals and what they think the company should do? Where did you learn that? Or
like the technical part of it, let's call it like that, or the real experience and the realization of, I don't know, like personal realization, okay, hey, this is the aha lateness, the moment that you see it is, of course, in my past experiences, I worked at big customers in Central Europe, where I had my own nearshore team of 45 people from different partners. And then, because I lived in the same city as also the expats then lived, you build up a personal relationship, but then you start understanding better. We're talking about people from Russia, India, Portugal as well, different places around the world. And what is common in that in their complaints is, my boss doesn't know me. I'm a consultant. I've been sent here. I'm here for a year. You know me better than my boss, right? And I was customer at that moment. Okay. To understand, this is something that I've always taken into account when I started my own initiatives, to do this in the different way, Yes, you are a consultant, but I don't want you to feel like a consultant. So I want you to have a team event with Bluepanda, but I also want you to have a team event with the customer that you are working for. So my target is always to be connected on both sides. And yeah, it is hard sometimes, because sometimes people are really for 1 or 2 years of the same customer, and it's normal that they have a really deep connection. But then it's up to us to put the effort and stay connected to our employees. So that
And
it's really coming from the past. Of course, me being an empath helps a lot, right? I'm not coming from a management study or financial study. It's a completely different, more a social person, right? For me, it's a little bit more natural also. But I can imagine that for other types of people, this could be more challenging.
you know, you've been in the client role, you've been in the, you know, the consultant role also, and then you can see the different perspectives and the expectations and what they need in different roles, right? Also from,
Yeah.
I imagine, are you already seeing a little bit collecting, you know, the efforts that you put in building this strong connection to Blue Panda culture already? Do you feel that you improved compared to the market or other nearshore competitors? Do you feel that you were able to, you know, to have a strong team, to have a very good retention in a sector that it's very hard to have high retention? Are you seeing already that you are collecting, you know, because Blue Panda is not so old company, so but are
True.
you already reaping the benefits of your approach in creating these bonds and relating people to your own company culture, so that they
Mhm.
belong to Blue Panda?
Yeah, I'm very happy to say that 4 out of 5 of the initial people are still with us. So that's 5 years now. And I do believe that, of course, with some ups and downs, we have been able to supply whatever they need. Always at the end of the year is always a question mark, right? Everybody wants more salary, and what are we going to get next year? That's always interesting. No, but yes, our approach has been since day one, it needs to be a personal business. The connection should be personal. And yes, that works because you have people close to you. I'm not going to lie, salary is very important as well for people, okay? Especially now with everything becoming way more expensive. Here in Portugal, we are a little bit lucky because we are working for international customers. So we have a little bit better chances to give people decent wages compared to the companies in Portugal that work for Portuguese customers. And of course, we are making use of that. But I also don't want to create a bubble that will explode. So you need to find a bit of a balance. And then what comes in, if people are happy with the salary, it is what company am I feeling best?
We know a little bit theoretically that salary is like, you know, it's a hygienic condition. It has to be there, otherwise I'm not satisfied. But
Mhm.
then all the other things that actually create the working conditions, the culture, the connections, are the ones that really create satisfaction and really creates loyalty and the
Yeah.
want to stay. But sometimes in practice it's hard to find. Yeah, and it's true that our market has you know, some challenges because the wages are much lower and our living costs are a little bit lower, but not, you know, not as lower as the salary. So yeah, it's struggling.
Yeah.
What are your plans, you know, in terms in continue to invest in culture, by, you know, the building blocks of creating this health and well-being team, you know, very healthy and very happy team. What are your focus for 2023? What are your main, you know?
First of all, continuing what we're doing. I think from a people perspective, I think that's certainly very important. Continue doing the pre-vay cycles, including the evaluation and also employee satisfaction surveys. We need to keep doing that, people strategy. Keep working also, constantly working on salary package. I think it's an important topic for employees. And finding the interesting projects, that's another topic as well. With that package, plus all the events we're doing, plus the personal approach we have, and the very flat management structure, I believe we're on a good path. Don't see any revolutionary changes now, because we basically had to do those changes in the last 1 or 2 years now with the COVID situation. But yeah, keep on growing on a very steady way, focus on people and make sure that the team stays together and connected.
Yeah, yeah. With the growth of the team, other challenges you will have, you know, it's different from having. How many are you at the moment? Like December 2022,
70,
when we
yeah,
are recording.
70 people by now, yes.
Yeah. So,
And decent teams, yes.
So that puts also challenging in terms of the culture, also, creating and not only, full-scale events, but also local events and coordinating these initiatives. I imagine that you already have like an HR team or people dedicated to people, right?
Indeed, yes. We of course have HR management and HR support in place. But I do believe it's very important to have the team leads involved in the people management and give them also the freedom to organize their own events and give them the leverage also to do that. And again, that contributes to the connection of the company in the form of team leads. So it makes it easier for me because I have 4 people to do that instead of me have to do it myself.
You don't need to lead 20
Yeah, I need
people,
to
right?
lead,
Or
but
40 people, right?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Okay. Thank you so much. And I think, for us partnering with Bluepanda and also learning, as you know, at Bound, we are fully remote and we normally have our team bounding meetings, which are full days without other meetings and just focus on the team. And normally we are invited in a way, or we make ourselves invited to your offices in Lisbon. But it's been a very interesting collaboration and learning how you are able to manage such, very diverse team, very complex also, and working remotely sometimes for the clients. And for us, it's been also very inspiring because, in our field, consultancy, particularly in HR fields, tends to be very in person. So we wanted also to build something that is scalable and we could have clients no matter in which city, because actually our solutions, as you were saying, pre-vay cycle and pre-vay evaluations are fully digital. So we have learned a lot from you and you've inspired us also to improve our culture in a way. So thank you for that. So normally at the end of our conversations, we have a more personal question. And we didn't told you. It's a more personal question because your Smets, how do you see yourself in 2030? How will you be working? Where will you be working? Will you have more than one company? Will you still be based in Lisbon or in Belgium? Because I know that you are part in Brussels, part in Lisbon. So how do you see yourself working in 2030?
Well, I'm going to start with the easy answer to the Belgian-Portugal side. I told my Portuguese partner that if she would ever leave me, I'm staying in Lisbon or in Portugal at least, and that she can go wherever she wants. So I'm staying in Portugal for now. That's at least the idea. Yeah, with regards to business, very hard to say, right? I like to adapt to the situation that's coming up. But I really hope to be in a place that I can work with people and that we can be in a relaxed environment, which is, of course, healthy stress is fine. I like that as well. And that we're doing good for me as a person. But what does that mean? It's not only financially, it's also being able to support other families. Because in the end, if you have 70 employees, it means that you're making sure that 70 families have a decent income. And that's also very important for me. So I hope I will be in a place that I can keep doing that. And maybe in the middle somewhere, a year of relaxed or a half year of a little bit out. I think
Like a sabbatical, right?
Yeah.
With your wife?
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't think I will be able to miss all the things, the good things that we're having at the company, but it's let's see. Let's see.
Let's see. So thank you so much, Yo, for sharing, your journey at Bluepanda and your unique culture features, which is also something very interesting for us. Because normally, in big corporations, they feel that to really take care of the health and well-being of their employees, they have to have huge investments and have huge benefits packages. But actually, what you've shown is that you can grow steadily a very strong nearshore, right, technology company, very diverse, and at the same time with a mix of hybrid, remote, fully, and it's possible if you are intentional about it. And as you were saying, you are an empath and really listen to them. So you don't need strong technology. You just need strong human technology, as you were saying. So thank you so much. And we are really looking forward to continue collaborating in the future and learn more from Bluepanda. So
looking forward to it, and also very much thank you for the invitation again. I wish you a lot of success with your initiative as well.
Thank you so much.